She waits by the ruined mill, in an overcoat 2 sizes too big.
Look! Look! Over here! Look at this!
She yells.
This only happens once every 10 years, for Christ's sake!
She grabs your hand, and you both look at the black gear rolling west to cover the sun. Steadily, the darkness draws across the sun until it is almost total. She clutches your hand tightly.
I've never seen this before. I've never seen this.
The sun, obscured, throbs and expands, raging against the night. The eclipse breaks. The sun surges forward, screaming, burning, writhing in torment. Your eyes burn too, as if in retaliation, as if your witness of the sun's humiliation constituted some great insult. You look at her. Her eyes are bleeding. She's getting married, the soldier tells you. The two of you observe the church from the dusty road, straining to hear the faint joy transpiring within. I fought for 10 years to come home because she said she'd be here, waiting for me. And look, can you believe it? So what am I supposed to do? What does she expect? That I should throw myself from the nearest cliff? Walk into the ocean? He snorts, sets off down the road. You wait a while. Eventually, the bride emerges from the church, alone, and looks out over the cornfield. When she sees you, and only you, her posture falls in a full-body sigh. She picks up the hem of her dress and goes back inside. There's a truck parked here. The driver mistakes your look for curiosity. You want to see something interesting? He asks, pointing to the trunk. He opens it. There's hundreds of metal tubes with little numbered screw-on caps sorted in wooden racks. We've been surveying, he said. It's my job to study soil health. The trunk has a map taped to it, marked with numbered dots. I can show you the one from your hometown if you see it here. It's an official-looking map, but the state borders and rivers are wrong. Half your county is missing. The surveyor offers you a coin for directions to your hometown, but his notes are funhouse mirror English writing. Fascinating, he murmurs. We learn so much from you folks. The storm swept in just before sundown, heralded by a purple sky and electricity in the air. You sought shelter alongside a grizzled farmer. All he can do is pace, muttering to himself.
Can't just stay here.
You catch.
Gotta find her.
He looks up at you.
My daughter was out down the road.
He balls his fists.
God, fuck this.
He hauls open the door, shielding his face from the fierce dust. He runs out into the storm. The maelstrom has turned the world a murky red. The farmer makes it a fair distance, but you see him stumble. A whirlwind of dust forms, coalescing into a great dark shape which looms over him. The storm swallows your warning. The dust thing engulfs the man in its body. The storm whips faster, cutting off your view. You don't manage any sleep. The storm settles in the early hours. You find the farmer laid out in the street, his corpse a shriveled mass. He has one arm stretched out in front of him, as if to crawl. The car is a lifeline, your one hope to escape the encroaching storm. It rattles along a few yards ahead of the storm front, jouncing and juddering, one pothole away from being swallowed by the choking dust. A figure clings to support straps mounted on the back. You grab the straps and haul yourself up.
Oh,
shouts the woman on the back.
a fellow observer.
She's wrapped in a scarf and aviation goggles, juggling a pen and a notebook while hanging onto the unsteady car. The dust scours your face and rips at your clothes.
We're not done with our observations.
She threads one arm through the straps and makes another attempt to write, but it comes out illegible.
Blast it. Get inside and take dictation, will you?
You clamber through the open back window, and she hands you pen and notebook. You scribble furiously while she dictates the finer qualities of the dust and wind assaulting the car until her voice is hoarse.
That'll do.
She bangs on the roof.
Judith, let's go.
The plants grow and blossom as you watch. The man goes down the line, applying a few drops from a vial as he goes. As the liquid soaks in, each plant pushes up from the soil, unfolding and stretching for the sky. He turns to you.
It's quite something, isn't it? Soy here strangles the crops. People are starving. But even when the plants survive, they don't grow fast enough to fill people's bellies.
He smiles.
My miracle formula will change that.
He shakes his head.
I'm not giving up my secrets that easily. The state will pay a lot of money for this.
He shakes the vial. He tears off a leaf.
Here, try some.
It's just bitter at first, but as you swallow, The fibrous mass burns in your throat. You fight to hold it down, and your stomach knots tight when the plant matter hits it. You cough and hiccup. The man looks at you, curious.
What do you think?
He waves a hand.
Well, yes, there are some kinks to work out, but people are starving. They can't be fussy. It won't be long before no one around here goes hungry again.
Your stomach protests. You feel like you'll be hungry again very soon indeed. The policeman minds you for news from anywhere but here as his radio burbles. You catch a snippet.
Armed robbery in progress at...
Before he turns it down. He waves a hand.
Yeah, it's just Willie. Every month after his paycheck goes in, he marches into the bank with his 45 and demands cash. Candace gives it to him and deducts it from his account later. Right you are. No harm in it. Truth is, Billy just ain't very good at using banks. That's no crime.
Gunshots sound a few blocks away. His eyes widen. He kicks the car into gear and roars off, shouting into his radio. You get to the bank several minutes later. There's a crowd gathered round the entrance, blocking your view, but the action's over. A woman turns to you.
Someone came in waving a shotgun. Willie was there, put him down, but... Poor Willie.
It's long past dawn, but the stray rooster crows repeatedly. Satisfied with its vocal performance, the bird rushes you, flapping. It backs up and repeats the gesture. The rooster is like a tiny feathered goat making a threat display. It struts. It eyes your legs. The rooster launches itself into the air, going for your eyes. As you step back, it returns to gouging your shins with its beak. Its crow now is more like a shriek.
All right, I'm coming.
An elderly man lumbers from the nearby house.
God don't mind old Red. He's better than a guard dog, but harder to train.
Red rushes at your feet.
Sorry. I can hold him while you get past if you like.
He smiles awkwardly.
Or you could come in, have a drink. Least I could do after he's been shouting at you.
As you step onto the man's front porch, the volume of Red's crows increases. It lunges repeatedly at your legs, drawing blood through your clothes. Finally, the man grabs the rooster so you can get inside.
Yeah, he's a big softy, really.
Your shins disagree. The tea the man gives you is too sweet, but it's soothing. He gossips about the local farms. Apparently his daughter's husband has a new bull. Red pokes his head by the window. He is watching. There is an ominous clucking just as you prepare to leave. Red is waiting. To preserve your calves, you have to sprint from the house door to the gate. The cockerel's crows are triumphant. The two youths jump when they hear you.
Oh, thank fuck. Thought you were our paw.
The boys are near identical. Tall, ash blonde, blue-eyed and smothered in freckles. Even their temperaments seem alike. Their quick smiles are gleeful.
Do us a favor, would you? We need you to take these sheep away.
He points at the sheep. The tiny lamb is suckling. Its wool is blood-stained. It can only be a few hours old.
I don't care what you do with them. We just need them off the farm. Revenge, mostly.
The boys are grinning. Was that a joke?
Pa gave Lenny
Lenny nods.
a beating for stealing from our neighbors. Wouldn't listen. It was me, not him. So we're going to hurt Pa back. He was up all night. Was a breech birth. He'll feel the loss. Well, you can fuck off then.
Was that Lenny or the other one?
It's just another fucking do-good. Think we want to steal? Not like Pa pays us for our work. We take what we deserve.
The look the boy and his brother share is vicious. As you head away from the field, you pass the porch of a farmhouse. An old man lies in it dozing. He's surely the twins' father. The man stands, yawning apologies. At your words, he sits again heavily. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I'd see him off the farm, but they'd have to believe I'd follow through on my threats before they'd go. He sighs. What did I do wrong?
Much to find can be found. When
grackle perches on a fence post at the border of the farm. Fields have been stripped clean. A man lies on his front in the dirt, seeds spilling out from the sack he holds in one hand.
Please.
His voice thin with exhaustion. It wants more. You take the sack. The birds' heads turn in rhythm as 6 eyes assess you. More, it says, a multi-voiced croak. You're not sure which head to feed, so you just hold out your seed-filled hand. It pecks you hard enough to draw blood. More. The bird crows with rage. You notice the flecks of red in its eyes for the first time. The aberrant thing flies at you, reaching out with its scything claws. The bird gouges your arm. You bat it away. It lands by the man, hopping closer and driving its beak deep into his arm, yanking loose a vein and tugging on it as if it were an earthworm. The racetrack lawn is a sea of hats. Boaters, bowlers, berets, and cloches. Nearby, some gentlemen mumble to each other.
That she-demon Petunia. She wins another race. I'm out of house and home.
You slide coins under a steel lattice window. Someone on the other side takes the cash and pushes a ticket in your direction without a word. The horses run inches apart and kick up dust thicker than a morning fog. You depend on excited folks with binoculars to narrate the action. As the herd rounds a bend, you glimpse Petunia on the outside. She gallops with pride and determination. You hoot and holler for that fierce filly. Petunia falls behind on bends, but drives ahead in straights. She sprints around the home turn into a dead heat with a frenzied colt. The crowd stands on their toes. The finish line nears. Petunia finishes a head behind the winner.
Well, she went all out, didn't she?
The woman says, having noticed your lack of elation. The crowd dies down as folks head off to collect winnings. The man wears a fine cotton suit, clean as a whistle. Like the dust and dirt of travel just don't stick. Could I have a moment, traveler? A kindness for your fellow man. As you draw closer to him, a vibrant fragrance enriches your nostrils. Notes of jasmine, citrus, and... is that sandalwood? No, birch tar. Have you seen a jailbird around? Usual black and white stripes. A woman. The man doesn't elaborate much. She has a debt to settle. That's all. I have coins for your trouble. The air feels hotter, like the sun just passed between some clouds.
Is that right? No one at all by that description?
Before you've finished hearing his words, the man's gone, and where he stood is a ring of scorched grass. The old man sits on an upturned bucket, looking out over the tracks. His hands tremble and his head shakes, but he is smiling. The growing dark and the efforts of a young station hand to send him home do nothing to deter him. The old man waves the boy away. "That's it. You've nothing to fear." The old man winks. "Keep me company?" The others laughed, but they all found reasons to leave. He chuckles, wheezes, and wipes blood from his mouth. "It's a nice night. The katydids are beautiful. Couldn't have asked for more. I'm here to die." He takes your hand in his weak grip. "Heard the whistle. 11:59. Thought I'd meet it at the station. Wouldn't want to make it late." He straightens his tie. "Never been on a train I didn't work on. Nice to see what it's like." He sees you looking for the station clock and checks his watch. "It's 11:55. Don't let me keep you. I don't know if they'll take extra passengers, but you might not want to find out." He looks anxious. "You better leave if you're gonna." He shouts as if compensating for loud noise. "It's coming!" The katydids sing, but that's it. He points. "There!" A train, intangible as steam, glides silently down the track. It slows and pulls up. The old man leans heavily on your arm. He squeezes your hand once and lets go. He goes to climb onto the train, accepts the hand that is offered to help him in. The train is gone. The old man is lying on the ground. He is dead. He is smiling. Tick. It is midnight. The row of buildings looked abandoned from the outside, but a man scrambles to his feet as you come through the door. Red rims his eyes, and his whole body is wound taut.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No closer!
He brandishes the tool at you.
You tell Daggett I'll get his money.
He looks you up and down and lowers his impromptu weapon. You see the tremor in his hands. He's scared or exhausted.
Sorry, I thought you were... It doesn't matter. You mind your own. I can handle myself. I just needed to make sure I had eaten money until I found work.
He sniffs.
These people don't like it when you're late. Only for loan sharks.
He rubs his eyes.
I go a few towns over or I might find something. These people ain't the understanding type. They'll think I'm skipping out on the debt.
He waves a hand.
You should go. Anyone asks, you never saw me.
As you walk back down the street, a couple of dark figures emerge from one of the doorways. They look you over, and one speaks in a smoker's rasp.
You. Seen anyone around here? A big guy?
He says.
Well, if you see someone, mind how you go. This ain't a good place to be after dark.
The huge farm dogs bark hysterically. A scent pervades the air, rich and salty, with a tang that fills your mouth with saliva. No wonder the dogs are wild. The burlap sacks hanging from this tree are stained carmine. They drip. Man near the tree shouts. He bellows.
Mind where you step. Don't want that in your shoes.
Puddles of blood congeal below the tree. The man points proudly at the bags.
Curing them.
but could just bite into one right now. The dogs throw themselves against the gate. It shudders. Nah, they're just big pups. They won't do themselves any harm. The gate groans. Think you'll come back this way? You want to try the meat when it's ready? The gate rattles off its hinges. It crashes to the ground. 3 slavering dogs rush towards you. You're up the tree in seconds. The man follows as swiftly, swinging himself up onto a high branch. Fuck! The pair of you sit there, with nothing to do but watch the dogs lap up the muddy blood puddles. The dogs have ignored the man's shouts for what feels like hours. They have to tire out soon. They'll listen to me then. Man sounds unconvinced. The beasts circle the tree, whining hungrily. Their eyes are staring. Their bared teeth are covered in white foam. The dogs have more patience than the man. He's moved to jump down several times already. Each attempt has only driven the dogs into a greater frenzy. Unless you do something, you'll be here for hours more. You ignore the man's shouts of outrage. You both need this distraction. The meat bag thumps to the ground. The hounds are savaging it in seconds. You slip down from the other side of the tree and run, putting as much distance as you can between you and the dogs. The lawmen stream past, fired up and in pursuit. It's a miracle they don't run down the man in the red coat. Amid the chaos of horses' legs and swirling dust, he turns to you and grins. But when the last rider passes, the crouching man is gone. You turn to leave, but a voice interrupts you.
Aren't you the least bit curious what I was up to?
He sits atop a fence post behind you, tapping his heels against it. His crimson coat is untouched by the dust.
Their quarry earned a favor from me.
He empties a handful of bullets onto the ground.
They'll find her a little harder to hit without these.
He flashes rot-worn teeth.
You could earn a favor too.
He grabs some bullets.
Shell game? See if you can best me.
He slides from the post and sets up the game. 3 cups, 2 bullets. His movements are exaggerated, taking care to demonstrate that he's making no sleight of hand. Ready? The cups move like lightning. The man is more readable. You manage 3 correct guesses. On the 4th, you catch him palming the bullets. He grins. Sometimes you have to make your own luck. He presses a bullet into your palm. Maybe this will make some for you.
Well, I'm gonna have my spade up upon my way back. I'm gonna keep lost blood stuck in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else take my hold.
Were they all here for the bar, or did any come to hear me? He turns and starts, but recovers swiftly. Thought you were the manager. He laughs. Not here for an autograph, are you? No, of course not. Did you hear me sing? Didn't think so. Place was empty. I'd have seen you. He sighs. I'm a good singer. I've packed larger joints, but only the drinkers come now. They don't give a damn about me. He smiles. It is false, but still warm. Why are you here? A traveler? I used to be one. Was singing my way to New York. Got trapped here. Didn't feel like a trap at first. He grabs the glass, swigs, winces. It's love, of course, or used to be. Can you hate the person you love? Truly hate them? He sighs. My fiancée doesn't trust me. Singers are fickle. You'll fall for another. So I stay and my music dies. A glinting track on his face. The path of a tear. The person you love doesn't trust you. No point in proving him wrong. My place, you'd leave. Wouldn't you? Saying what I want to hear or the truth? He laughs. Not that it matters. If I stay, I got no future either way. So I need to leave. Damn this town. Damn what she thinks of me. Damn her. The girl presses her fingers into the man's shoulder. Watch. The train pounds past, throwing up thick and suffocating dust. For several minutes, the world is nothing but a cloud. It settles to reveal the two, now painted orange with filth. Making sure he understands. She looks at the man. Do you? He nods. Come back tomorrow, an hour earlier. He nods again, glances warily at you, and then runs away. The girl stares at you appraisingly.
You ain't escaped. You're not with the law. Why are you here?
She snorts.
Lucky.
She smiles. It's a bright crescent against the ochre dirt.
I have a duty. I run the route. I get people out of this shithole. But it means I can't leave. At this bend, the trains have to slow. If you've got enough layers on and you know when to jump, get aboard without breaking much. I know all the timings.
The look she gives you is combative.
If I showed you how, would you take it? A train to anywhere? You don't like losing control?
She pauses for a long moment.
You ever wonder how you'll cope when it's taken from you?
She looks away.
I think that happens to everyone eventually. Doesn't make it easier.
She walks away and does not look back. His eyes light up when he sees you.
Excellent. I'm short for the morning edition. Fancy giving a quick interview? People around here are always keen to hear from outsiders. Plus, there's a fee in it for you.
The man throws you a few soft questions and scribbles shorthand into his notepad.
That's great. Let me get it typed up.
He disappears into the back. He left today's paper on his desk, but it looks off somehow. You struggle to make out the words. Instead of letters, the paper's printed with curved symbols and sharp glyphs. The layout and photos are normal, but the text is wrong. A lap of the room reveals the same. Papers, notes, even desk calendars are gibberish. The journalist returns and stops dead. He rushes forward and catches you by the wrist, pulling you towards the door.
It's not for you.
He thrusts a coin into your hand.
You need to leave.
The centers of his eyes bear two matching glyphs. He slams the door behind you. The sign above the door is written in those glyphs. Was it English before? Every street sign and business name bears the same incomprehensible symbols. The townsfolk watch you go. Their eyes each carry their own symbol. course, times was different then. Not long after you walked into the small, cramped saloon, you found yourself caught by this man. A portly old grifter sat upon an armchair, seemingly placed there just for him. He takes a deep drag from his cigar. Used to have a trunk full of pawn shop violins. He smiles conspiratorially at you. No doubt, this is his default smile. No harm in explaining how it works now, is there? People today don't go for it. Times are too tough. You walk into a diner and eat breakfast. Breakfast's the important part. He chuckles for emphasis. And then you get the bill and act surprised when you can't find your wallet. So you put the violin down as collateral while you go back to your car and get it. And that's where the shill comes in. His eyes lean away, as though recalling a face. Something distracts him from his story. Never mind. I think everybody knows how this goes now. Point is, you sell a $2 violin to someone who thinks it's a $50 violin. The burning end of his cigar has gone dark. He rolls it around on a finger, wistful. He was one of the best. Could look in your eyes and make you believe anything. His eyes avoid yours. He takes a drink out of his glass for the first time that you've seen. I couldn't keep working without him. He laughs hollowly. Isn't it obvious? I believed him. By God, I believed him.